It has been a little over a month since the play to earn game Townstar stopped issuing Towncoin for its NFTs that you play. So you may be wondering now, well, what's been going on in that month? Well, I had to dig through a lot of AMAs, but I am here to bring you that information today and let you know everything that's going on in the Townstar universe on today's Frugal BC. What's up, guys? Frugal BC coming back at you. Today, we are going to dig into Townstar. I've got a month worth of updates to share with you. So it was about a month ago that Gala Games announced that they were going to stop issuing Towncoin. So this caused quite a stir. Obviously, I think there's a lot fewer people playing now. I just logged in a couple days ago to check this out. A lot of space available compared to usual. Usually, by the time if you come in at the middle of a cycle, you won't have many places to choose from. I had no problem getting a place near the water, probably about 6 or 7 places away from a city. So not as much activity going on. Sentiment's a little negative, and so we're going to get into that. The town, however, the town coin's been going up a little bit. We're going to talk about that too today. Before we do that, guys, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button, and if you want to hit the like button too, I'd appreciate that. Channel is all about doing the experiment and taking a critical eye towards crypto. So I'm very pro crypto, but also not rose-colored glasses. I give you the good parts, the bad parts, and everything in between. We do the experiment and we let you know how it goes. And town is one of those experiments. So it's been interesting to see them shift to, because I've listened to a number of these AMAs, and they really kind of look down on I've heard they're trying to send this sentiment of well, it's really about the games. It's not about the money. It's like, yeah, but you made a play to earn game, which they're now calling play and earn. And right now you are not earning, so it's not that either. But just to put that out there, they're really shifting away from the earning aspects because it didn't go so well. Basically, town, when I first got into this, town was selling for about 68 cents a piece. So I bought my first real town. First I bought the Gala Gold, which is pretty inexpensive. It was a great way to get into it. That's $50. The NFT earns you 1 town a day from that. Then I went up a level and got a NFT that was paying 3 town a day. Now I didn't know this, and that was a few $100, almost $300, I think. And the payback would have been about 6-7 months. So I thought, well, that's not so bad. Of course, once Towncoin crashed, that made that impossible. It went from 68 cents to, at the lowest I saw it, it was around a penny a piece, maybe just a little over a penny. And now it's up to about 3.5 cents. So we'll look at that again. But it made the payout kind of impossible. But here's the other thing that really ticked me off. They changed it to a reward distribution system. This is before they shut it off. And what I found out was, for a long time, I was not getting 3 town anymore. I was getting 1.7, 1.6. So, or it was like, I know it was like 1.7 something. So 1.73, 1.74, something like that. So I wasn't even getting the amount. But here's the thing. It didn't say that when I got my rewards, it still said I was getting 3 towns. So it's just flat out lied. If you're going to change that, you got to update it. I'm sorry. That's pretty shady. So I was not very happy about that. And then, of course, a month ago, they announced that they were shutting it down. Clearly, they didn't have the economy straightened out, so they have some economists working on fixing that. And I've been listening to the AMAs, and they have not really talked a lot about that. I didn't go all the way back through. I went through the last 3 of them, and so here's the thing: they're making a lot of changes, and I tried to dig around on the internet. They don't talk about these changes anywhere. The only place they talk about what's coming is on the AMAs. I just can't believe that in this day and age, there's nothing on the Discord announcements. There's nothing on the Medium blog about this stuff. They kept referencing the last one. They kept referencing Townstar Forever. I'm going to explain what that means in a minute. They kept referencing Townstar Live. The Godot, if you're just coming in and this is the first one you're listening to, you will be totally lost. So I had to take a bunch of notes. I went through 3 of these AMAs before I finally started getting a picture of what's going on. I'm going to tell you about that today. So let's just get into it. So right now, there still is no word on when town distribution will return. It doesn't sound like they actually know. They're trying actually not to give timelines. I kind of understand that. They still are holding weekly competitions, and you can earn NFTs and other prizes for this. So there still is a way to like play the game actively without just it being for nothing. But they've got some big changes to Townstar that are coming, and they've only talked about these in the AMAs. I can find nothing on this anywhere. So they kept referencing Townstar Forever, and I was like, well, what is this? Well, what they're talking about is they're working on in the next generation of this game. They want to have the ability to have a persistent town. So when you play town, right now it's like a 30-day thing. You get it for 30 days, and then your town's gone. You got to restart over, or it was like 33 days. It kind of depended. It seemed to kind of change actually, but basically now the new thing it'll be you'll have a town that you'll just continually run. So that's kind of interesting. Part of that is moving to a new engine called a Godot engine. I don't know what that is. I'm not a game programmer, so but basically it's an engine that allows them to do a bunch of different stuff. There's a lot of little details. I tried to pull out some of the interesting ones. For example, they're talking about the ability to like be able to see, right now if I plant a crop somewhere and it's next to, like, I don't know, a manure field, I'm making that up, it'll have an impact. It'll have an environment. Or if I'm next to an industrial area, like say if I put a crop next to a nuclear power plant, that's going to have an impact on that, right? So that's one of the features of the game, but you can't see that impact. You only know that from reading forums and other people or just trial and error. So the new one they're talking about, where this will actually let you see the impact just by kind of clicking on a square, excuse me. They're talking about maybe adding more cities to the map, but also like making the paths a little easier for selling. So you might not necessarily have to be as close to the city to get the same advantage, which is pretty cool. One of the things they're talking about is the new engine will not allow users to use scripts. I'm assuming I understand that correctly. It sounded like the script simply won't work. They've kind of allowed them, but it doesn't sound, based on the developer interviews that I listened to, that they really like them very much. So one of the complaints they've been getting is that people are using scripts to immediately get the best land right when it starts without having to really do the work of being there when the game opens. I didn't have that problem. I only had that problem if I waited. If I was there right away, I was able to get a pretty good spot. Maybe not the best spot, but like pretty good spot. So maybe it's not, maybe that's, but I wasn't playing in the competition server, which I'm actually going to try. I want to see how the competition server is. So I'm going to try that next week. But the new engine will basically, it just won't be possible to use these scripts on the new engine. So that's actually pretty positive. I think you should play the game as the game is intended. I don't like scripts. It's not right for me. They talked about some other stuff like better resource management. And then what they talked about is not just having the persistent town, but also that it will work while you're not there. And that might be the Townstar Live element. I'm not sure. I never got quite confirmation on what that means. And again, none of this is spelled out online anywhere. I've Googled it. I've searched their Medium. I've searched Discord. Maybe they put it on Telegram. I don't use Telegram. I checked their Twitter. I went back through all their Twitters, all the way back through well before the town coin distribution stopped. I can't find anything on this, and I just don't understand this. Why wouldn't you put this stuff out there somewhere? Anyway, enough of that rant. Basically, what they were talking about is the new engine should allow for the ability to, so if I send my lumberjacks to go get some wood and I come back in an hour, they will have gathered wood. So it's not like a freeze state like it is now, where it's like it's only working when it's running. A lot of people talked about that, as it does take a lot of resources. And that was one of the things I was thinking about, is the calculations. Like for a while there, I was only running the game when I was also working, so that I wasn't using electricity extra just for the game. And I don't know if it still might have been using extra because your laptop's working so much harder. I mean, my laptop the fan would be running, and it usually isn't. So other than maybe editing videos, it tends to do that a little bit too. So all these changes, I mean, they sound great. I didn't have a problem with anything they say. I'm just really curious about the economy. The communications is an issue. I wish they would talk about this more. that's a big problem for me. Like they just need to get better. It shouldn't just be an AMA. And I've been talking about this with other projects too. Just because you mentioned it in an AMA somewhere buried online, like that's not searchable. People can't just go find that. You got to have this somewhere written down. You got a medium. The medium is rarely updated. It should be updated way more often, like once a week. And someone should be taking notes on these AMAs and just kind of putting the basic details online somewhere. And so that's my irritation, and also my irritation of them kind of pretending like the earning is sort of an extra. Well, you guys should have been worrying about that as much as you should the game. Well, no, because you charged a lot of money for these things. You charge a lot of money. There's some NFTs you can buy on now, but they pretty much shut that down. But the NFTs you can buy, like they don't offer any town rewards. It's in, and you wonder about this stuff because if you're putting in serious money and you're treating this like a business, which it's a lot of money. People are saying like, well, it's not an investment. How is it not an investment? You're putting a lot of money into this. That's a lot of money to play for not an investment. I mean, it's not like these things were like $10, right? Some of these things were going for thousands. And the idea was you were going to get some kind of reward for spending that money. So I think it's really unrealistic to say something like to pretend like the play to earn element was never the focus in the first place. You have people with these nodes that weren't all of a sudden weren't earning money. That's another thing. Those things were really expensive, thousands and thousands of dollars, like five figures, 5 or 6 figures we're talking now. So that's my little rant on that. I still think it's a fun game. But they get a lot of criticism. And one thing I noticed, they were talking about actually removing criticism. So I don't know what the level was. I don't know if it was like just the stuff that was borderline harassment versus like actual criticism. Because I know when they first announced the town rewards were ending, I didn't see a lot of chatter on the discussion Discord, and I'm a little skeptical of that because one would think that would garner a lot of criticism. There was a lot now in the discussion. Last time I looked, there was a lot of negative comments. Kind of like not negative, like angry, almost like exasperated or sarcastic. Like people are just like, yeah, good luck with this. Like you kind of realize it's a sunk cost thing in terms of economics. Now they've added some new things, and I kind of want to show those really quick. So let me just take a look at some of these. Yeah, so this is interesting because as you can see, this is the screen it took me to, and I just had built the town. I just had started a town not too long ago, and it's already gone, that's kind of annoying. Yeah, I had one over here somewhere. I'm just kind of scrolling around because yeah, it was right over around here somewhere. I'm just gonna put one here just to show. Now look, I got one that's pretty close to the city. So I'm gonna place my town there. Yeah, so it looks pretty much the same. The only thing I want to show you, I know I'm gonna put my NFTs down. Yeah, let's see how close we got. It's going really slow right now, but probably because I'm running my video as well. Yeah, I mean, 115 away from New York. So that's like you wouldn't normally expect to just walk in and do that days and days after it started, right? So that's interesting. But let's see, like, I want to show you a couple of new things. I checked this out yesterday. Let's see. In farm, I don't know if there was a lot. Okay, there's a pantry. I think that's new, isn't it? I don't remember a pantry. Yeah, pantry for non-perishables. So they kind of separated that out. I think that's a good idea. I didn't notice that the last time I looked. Strawberries has been there for a little while. I think that might be it on this end. Ranch, there is now, yeah, there's a beekeeper house and a beehive, so that's kind of cool. You can actually have bees. This grew too. There's now clover and clay. Let's see. Puts out some nectar. Clover puts out some nectar for your bees at the clay field. And so you can make clay lumps. It makes clay lumps for the potter. So apparently you can get a potter now. That must be under industrial. So I mean, they've been adding a couple little things. That's cool. Yeah, I don't. Did I miss it? I thought there was and steel power refine. Oh, there's the pottery shop. Yeah, so there's pottery shop now to make pottery. So I mean, I guess it's cool that they added a couple things. But by the way, I had already created a town and they disappeared it again. So this has been one of the problems with Townstar too. It just hasn't worked consistently. I mean, people have had their towns reset like all the time, which again in a play to earn game is kind of annoying, right? But there's a couple cool things, so that's nice. And we should go to the regular Gala Games site as well. So I have 370 town, which at 3.5 cents, I think it was worth. I can't even remember. I can't even remember the math, but let's see. There was. Yeah. So this is interesting too because I now have this wool storage and the flower storage. These are non-earning, by the way. I earned both of. So I earned both. These just came. They just gave them to me. I'm not really sure why. But there was a place where they. Oh, here, yeah. Yeah, so they gave me a sugar storage 10 days ago. Got my very last, yeah, I got my very last town 30 days ago. So it's been about a month. And not to mention wool storage. They gave me that about a month ago. I think that was when they knew town they were going to be ending town. But you can see I'm not getting my three. I was getting 1.7 for, and it's been like 375, 38, 34, 393, 3.74, et cetera, for quite a while. But again, it never said this. It never said this in the window. It said three in the window. They never updated that, and that is really frustrating. Yeah, that was for a while. It was months in here. Now, 4 months ago, we were getting three. So yeah, somewhere in 3, 4 months ago is when that changed. So overall, I think the changes to the game look positive that are coming up. I think they're just a little. I just don't think they're taking the money part of it seriously. I mean, they are in the sense that they're trying to redevelop the economy, but they're trying to move away from the idea that you should be having that you should care at all about the money, which is ironic since these things costed like a ton of money. You know, they're not cheap. They're not like it's not like these are 10, 20, 30 bucks or even 80 bucks. Like these NFTs were like thousands of dollars. You can buy them for a lot cheaper on OpenSea now, I'll tell you that much. But so I've thought about whether that's a good idea. Frankly, I'm not putting any more money into this game. I hope they turn back the distribution because I would like to at some point at least recover my the money I put into this game. But I'm not buying into any of their other games. That's just not happening. People were buying land and stuff. Like they've got a ton of games in their inventory. They've added a bunch in the last few months, yet not one of them is actual. The only one that's working is Townstar. So I really hate to be so negative, but I feel like I need to be honest with this stuff. Like there's just a lot of crypto is kind of the wild west. It's like the early days of the internet. You have to be careful. There's a lot of bad actors, and I'm not saying that they're a bad actor, but there's a lot of pie in the sky thinking and not necessarily grounded in reality. And I think that's kind of what we have happening at Gala Games. And so I don't think anything that's happening here is bullish. I think it's annoying, and I hope they get it fixed. I really do. Is it a fun game? I think it will. I think it could be. They also talked. I didn't put that in my notes, but they also talked about having like different events that happen that kind of spice the game up a little bit, or things that you could be doing like fishing and stuff like that. And I think that would be a positive because right now it's like one of those games where there's a lot of downtime. It's just active enough that you can't completely leave it alone unless you have a lot of scripts. But I don't count that because it's got to be the core gameplay is what's important to me. But it's not active enough that you can play it and have fun. It's kind of in between. Some people treat it like an AMSR game where it's like kind of relaxing, and I can get that. I can get behind that. So yeah, but I'm curious what you guys thoughts on Townstar. Did you invest in this game? You know, what are your thoughts on what's going on and the changes that are coming up? Leave it all in the comments below. As always, I'm Frugal BC. I hope you guys are staying safe out there and having a good time, and you know, not too worried about the crypto stuff. As I say, it's always stuff should be a really small part of your portfolio, as it is mine. And as always, we'll see you in the future.